Oh yeah! I love waking up to my channel that has 1 billion subscribers. I can't believe it only took me 2 months to become the greatest YouTuber on the planet. That was easy. This isn't really happening. Oh. Ah, dang it.
No! No!
Forget about Resident Evil Requiem, or Requiem for a Dream. Today we're talking about Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem.
This isn't really happening!
Look at me! I'm insane!
Everyone knows this game for its creative and innovative sanity mechanic, where the protagonist and even the player start to wonder what's real or not. It's something that people still talk about to this day. You might even say that players lost their heads because of it.
Keep telling yourself that, darling.
There's a lot of cool insanity moments just like this, and we'll go over each one as they happen, don't worry. But that's all people really seem to talk about. They tend to mostly focus on the sanity system and overlook the gameplay and the epic multi-generational story. So what's actually going on in this weird game besides the spooky jump scares? I first heard about Eternal Darkness in that classic game trailer video from 2006, where they ranked the top 10 scariest games of all time. Ranked at number 8, it looked like a really unique horror game.
Eternal Darkness's obliteration of the fourth wall via insanity was genius. With so many effects, you can never really be sure of anything or anyone. It works so well that Nintendo even patented video game insanity, which is scary unto itself.
That video came out over 20 years ago. Holy shit. That's depressing. And yes, Darkseid at number 7 is totally scarier than Eternal Darkness. Yeah, totally. Eternal Darkness has a very unique Lovecraftian story. It starts with some spooky narration about some spooky cosmic horror. The narrator, Edward Roivas, tells us that he's already dead and that humanity is very close to extinction. So the game is pretty realistic so far. He introduces the protagonist, his granddaughter, Alex. She has a nightmare where she fights skeletons with a shotgun. That's similar to dreams that I had, only in my dreams
I was the shotgun.
She looks like a blonde Lara Croft, and her voice actress is Jennifer Hale, aka Naomi Hunter from MGS. Also, she gets a call from the police. Her granddaddy was murdered inside of his mansion. This is a horror game, so of course there's a giant mansion. She talks with this incompetent detective who uses the word pleasant and unpleasant like 3 times in a row.
I'm pleased to meet you. I trust you had a pleasant trip?
Yes, I suppose so, considering.
Yes, my condolences. This is most unpleasant. But I must warn you, it's not a pleasant sight.
He casually drinks coffee while showing her her grandfather's mutilated corpse. He clearly has a lot of tact in sensitive situations like this.
I don't understand. Why are you showing me this? Can't you check dental records or something? What is wrong with you?
I'm sorry. It's my job, lady. You're the only living relative, and no, we can't check dental records. There's no head. None of this makes sense.
There's almost nothing left, but she manages to identify him by his ring. Alex realizes the police are idiot poopy heads, because they can't figure out what's going on, and decides to do their job for them. She starts searching the mansion for clues, and finds a hidden key behind a clock. Remember that for later. She also notices the clock is stuck on 3:43, which is the same time she got the call from the police. After exploring a bit, she finds a bigger clock and inputs the same time that was on the smaller clock. which, of course, opens up a secret passage. I don't know when it became a trend, but clocks are always part of a puzzle. When playing any horror game, always check the clocks. She finds her grandfather's secret OnlyFans subscription, secret study, where she finds a sword and a key to the second floor, which immediately breaks if you try to use it. More importantly, she finds the Tome of Eternal Darkness. If I suddenly found a book that has that name and was made out of human skin and bone, I would run away as far as I could. My grandpa's corpse can rot for all I care. This is basically the Necronomicon, and it's where we start to figure out what happened to her grandfather. He wrote about many people across history, which eventually crossed paths in one way or another. And we get to play as them. The first one is a Roman soldier from 26 BC.
It's BC! Before comedy.
His name is Pious Augustus, which is probably the most Roman name I've ever heard. He seems to be kind and wants to take care of his men. That's not gonna last for long. His emperor heard about a supposedly powerful artifact and tells him to find it. He suddenly hears voices calling to him and is teleported into an ancient dungeon. I didn't exist back then, but I'm pretty sure that's not normal. He comes across some skeletal corpses when one of them suddenly gets up. I would poop my pants and run away, but he's a tough warrior, so he kicks the shit out of this undead monster when even more show up. This is where we get introduced to the combat, and it's pretty good, even kind of deep. Eternal Darkness is mostly a hack and slash game, believe it or not. You can target different body parts and cut off limbs, something it definitely stole from Fear and Hunger 16 years earlier. If you cut off the head, the enemies will still be alive, but they won't be able to see what they're hitting, so they'll accidentally damage each other. If you just attack without locking onto an enemy, you will perform a cool combo. He eventually finds the artifact and makes the most important decision in the entire game. There's in fact 3 artifacts, they're floating, they're super spooky, and you can only touch one of them. You have no way of knowing this at this point, but this choice is pivotal and affects the entire story. Each one represents an ancient Lovecraftian god. We're essentially choosing who the final boss will be. This will become clear later. I chose the blue one because it's in the middle. It represents a creature called Uliaf. Uliaf? Man, those names are weird. Of course, the artifact corrupts him, and from this point on, he becomes the main antagonist, and we get one of the most iconic scenes in the game. Even if you've never played it, and only watched videos about it, you remember the Skeleton Man.
Eons have passed since then, and I have learned much. All at once, I understood. The forces of the multiverse all made sense under the transcending power of Ulyath. No mountain too high, no city too far. Face me, and you shall surely perish.
Each chapter ends with the same cutscene of Alex looking up. She's like, what the fuck did I just read? They didn't teach me this in high school. Reading from the Tome of Darkness allows her to translate a page hanging from the wall. The game excitedly tells us that it's another chapter from the book. So let's read it. This time, we take control of a woman from 1150 AD. So she's definitely a boomer. We also see Skeleton Man casually talking with a literal eldritch deity called Mantorok. Mantorok isn't one of the 3 ancients we could choose in the beginning. He's someone who opposes all of them and keeps them in check. Skeleton Man attempts to imprison him to weaken his grasp on his blue god. This lady, Elia, is actually reading about these events and is like,
not even these mythical fables can keep me amused. There has to be something to do around here. I only wish something that fantastic and of higher purpose could happen to me.
This is literally the embodiment of be careful what you wish for. You can't say shit like that, especially when you're inside an ancient tomb in a horror video game. What was she doing here anyway? She gets locked inside and starts searching for another way out. And of course monsters show up and she has to defend herself, avoid traps, solve puzzles, which are really easy for the most part. It's mostly find this item and put it over here. And most importantly, she has to not go completely insane. Yeah, it's time to talk about the Sanity system.
Deep into that darkness, baby.
This isn't really... No, it isn't happening!
Look at me! I'm insane!
This may be the first ever video game to have a sanity mechanic, except for maybe a Call of Cthulhu tabletop game from 1981. Usually when you're about to go insane in other games, you'll get some predictable effects, like the screen becoming blurry, some hallucinations, some ants on your screen, just normal stuff that your therapist doesn't need to be bothered with. Eternal Darkness has all of those things, but it also has other stuff that really makes you lose your mind if you don't know it's coming. And when I say you, I mean you the player. Your character might lose their head, and you'll start thinking that something hit you. You start cursing the game, saying it's bullshit. You didn't get hit, only to realize you've been pranked, and your character is fine. Random cutscenes might appear, the volume will go down, you'll start having game-breaking errors, you will start hearing really, really creepy voices. It's really cool, but how does it affect gameplay? Because if it's just there to be spooky, but it doesn't lead to any actual consequences, then what's the point, gameplay-wise? Well, normally when enemies look at you, you lose sanity. They just look in your direction, and your character is like, oh my god, stop staring at me, I'm so embarrassed. But if your sanity is depleted, enemies will drain your health instead. Very slowly, and that's it. So there's not much in terms of consequences, but obviously the mechanic is still really cool. It also affects your ability to control enemies. Yes, you can control enemies, even big enemies, because this game can't stop being awesome, but we'll talk about that later. You can restore sanity with magic, or by brutally executing enemies. Doing this makes you less insane. The game literally says, finish him.
Finish him!
So I guess every character in Mortal Kombat is the most sane individual in the universe. You will also lose sanity if you attack innocent people. Nowadays, everyone knows about the sanity system, so it's not as surprising or effective. Even so, it's still a very cool and entertaining concept. And even if you do know about it, you probably don't know every event that can happen, so there's still going to be a couple of scares that will catch you by surprise.
This isn't really happening!
If you're like me, you will want to lower your sanity on purpose, just to see what will happen. The less sanity you have, the more tilted the screen becomes, which makes you feel uneasy. Pious is the only character that doesn't have a sanity meter. I guess he's too much of a gigachad. Back at the plot, Elia eventually comes across Mantorok, which, let me remind you, is a fleshy puddle of teeth and eyeballs that eats people. Somehow looking at this does not reduce her sanity. I can run around this abomination and my sanity will not be depleted, but if a puny skeleton just looks in my direction, I will start going crazy. A statue knocks her out, then a random dude appears and is like, okay, so FYI, you're one of the chosen ones, okay? And you will fight the eternal darkness for eternity, okay? Oh, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about? Whatever. Here's the heart of Mantorok. Even though you're literally just a normal human, you have to protect it from powerful supernatural forces. I'll just put it next to your heart. okay?
Guard it well.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Skeleton Man, who I will call Skelly from now on, shows up and demands to know where the heart is. She doesn't say, so he just kills her. I don't know why he thought she knew where it was. Alex is like, oh shit, that was horrible. That was, oh look at the pretty candles. Thanks to the candle puzzle we did in the past, we know how to do it in the future. By solving it, we unlock a hidden compartment and find a message tube. Like in Resident Evil, we can take a closer look at the items in our inventory and see if they're hiding something. This one gives us another chapter page. As you can probably tell, Alex is not really the protagonist, or at least she's not the only one. Usually in these Lovecraftian stories, we only get one perspective from one person, and maybe a flashback. But here, we get like 10 different perspectives, from across time and space. It's kind of similar to what the Assassin's Creed games did, where you have a protagonist in the future, but you're actually following the stories of his ancestors. Only in Eternal Darkness, things that you do in the past will actively affect the future and will help you progress in the present. If this game came out like 10 years ago, it would have been released as episodes with each character. Publishers really like doing that for some reason. We see Skelly talking with his blue god. He wants to summon him into our reality, so he can rule over the universe. So, that would be a bit inconvenient. Skelly is preparing some kind of ritual in order to do that, even though the god is kind of an asshole to him. It's like a relationship between a simp and an OnlyFans, employee. Only that employee will never use intellectual language like this.
Thy presence is long missed, my liege.
The universe is a yawning chasm, filled with emptiness and the puerile meanderings of sentience. Why should you deserve special consideration within it, Augustus, above all else?
I am your servant, my lord. As always, that and nothing more.
Yes, that and nothing more.
The next chapter is about a dude named Anthony in 814. If you know your history, which I don't, this date will look familiar to you. He needs to deliver a message to Charlemagne the Frank. Only he gets to see it. This message is only for the king.
Deliver this to our Lord and Emperor Charlemagne the Frank. No one but him must see it. They are words for his eyes only. At once.
It wouldn't hurt just to take a small peep inside. Just a little bit. There's some kind of spell here that was meant to hurt the king. This is treason. We have to warn him. It got me instead. I hope it's nothing too serious. Poor Anthony. Every few minutes, he will get older and more corrupt. This is exactly how I felt in my 9-to-5 job. On the way to the king, he suddenly teleported to a really spooky place, right out of Berserk, where he finds the Book of Darkness, the same one Alex is reading in the future. Having this spooky book in our possession allows us to cast spells. The game has an interesting magic system. You need to find specific runes, then you need to find a codex to decipher them, and then you need to find a scroll that tells you how to combine them into specific spells. It's like a recipe. But what's cool about it is that you don't really have to decipher them or find a scroll. You can just experiment and combine them randomly until you get a random spell. You won't know what the spell does until you try it, but you can still use it. It's very neat. The system allows you to get spells much earlier than you should have. Using spells depletes your mana, which you recover by doing some light jogging, which essentially means you have infinite mana. You don't have to find consumable items to replenish it. Wow, I didn't know I get spiritual power whenever I go for a run.
This isn't really happening!
That was a bit weird, don't you think? Each character also has different weapons. I like how the weapons reflect the time period. Anthony has a sword, Elia had a stick that shoots poison darts, and in the present we have a boomstick. While I'm giving the game a handjob, I gotta mention how much I love the camera in this game. The way it moves with the characters makes the game feel that much more surreal. Sometimes it feels grand and epic. Sometimes it feels like you're walking straight into a nightmare. It can be either very claustrophobic or very open. Just like your mother, I'm sorry. We get a spell that can fix objects. We use it to fix this thing, so we can use it in this puzzle and unlock the door. Which leads to the bishop, or at least, I think is the bishop. Look at that face. Now that's a face you can trust. He was supposed to meet up with the king, but he's been corrupted by something. Was it even worth being corrupted? It's not like he became super powerful or anything. All he can do is walk slowly and slap me. We easily defeat him and claim the bishop's key. After watching a skeleton bitch slap another skeleton, I suddenly start to become super tiny and then stab myself.
This can't be happening!
Lovely. A scorpion shows up, or whatever this is, and teleports me to a teleport dimension. You can heal yourself here, but it's mostly filler. You just need to get to the main teleporter to get back. The scorpion enemy is just there to waste your time. I then have a black screen out of nowhere, and Anthony started losing limbs and freaking out. It's okay, dude. It can happen to anyone. Stop complaining.
This isn't really happening!
We encounter a big boss monster with 3 heads that can shoot electricity and we easily kill it. Yeah, the game in general is pretty easy. After casually becoming a giant, we use the key to unlock the door to the king. Taking the effects of the spell instead of him didn't help, because Charlemagne dies anyway.
You are a fool for trying to save him, Anthony. His fate was decided many centuries ago, as is the fate of this world. Despite your faith, there is little to save you from the power of Elia.
The voice acting is really good in this game, and yes, that was Colonel Campbell. He was possessed by a creature sent by the Skeleton Man. Skelly wanted to kill the king because his influence was somehow dangerous to the Blue God. Despite our efforts, he succeeded in removing him. But thanks to Anthony, Alex learned the spell that fixes things. So now we can use the broken key from earlier and get to the second floor. I really like the progression of this game. Each chapter and each character she reads about teaches her something new that allows her to unlock more and more secrets in the mansion, where she finds even more chapters from the Book of Darkness. But as a result, she will also start going insane. Just a little bit. Pictures will start bleeding. Statues will start looking at her. Stop staring at me, you pervert! And of course, we get the famous bathtub jump scare. We also see a ghost running into a wall. I guess he got lost or something. Is that James Sunderland?
I didn't mean to scare you. You snotty little brat! Open up!
She finds the next chapter behind this painting. Remember what I said about the relationship between a simp and OnlyFans employees? This chapter is about a simp named Karim, who attempts to find a treasure for this wench, even though she literally ignored him for years and is clearly using him to get what she wants.
I have implored you for years, yet you ignore all my advances.
She really wants this treasure, and he really wants her tight treasure, so he goes into the desert to find it. He stumbles into the same teleporter that Skelly found, and is transported to the same dungeons. He's then teleported again to find the Book of Darkness. We can see statues that weren't there before, statues of the previous characters who eventually became victims of the darkness. There will be more statues as the game goes on. You don't have to relearn how to use magic. Every character knows all of the spells the previous characters have used. How? Each one writes how the spell works in the Book of Darkness. I think that's what happens. I don't know when they have time to do that. Maybe they do it when I'm not looking. The same creatures that possessed the monks start attacking us here. They're everywhere now, and no one is safe. Karim learns how to enchant his sword, which unlocks this door. He probably wants that bitch to touch his enchanted sword, if you know what I mean. He then uses the blue enchanted sword to one-shot this red boss, which gives us a hint that some colors are stronger than others. We'll explore this idea later. He eventually finds the same place with the artifacts from the beginning of the game, where we needed to make a choice. The game continues to remind us that all of these characters are connected through the actions they take and the places they visit. This time though, only the red one is here. He's about to touch it and presumably also turn into a skeleton man, but he's stopped by the ghost of that bitch. Apparently, time is convoluted, and it's been years since he left. Unsurprisingly, she did not wait for him and jumped on someone else's dick. That person also had some bitches that wanted him. They got jealous and killed her. But in death, she gained knowledge about the artifacts, and now genuinely wants to do good.
So much for thinking only of me. I should never have left.
I have seen my folly and have already paid dearly. I see so much more now. In death, I know the true value of the artifact which I asked you to find, and it is not for us to possess. If we are to be together again, you must make a sacrifice. Only when that is complete will we be together.
Sacrifice? Why should I do anything for you? You lied to me, betrayed me, and you really don't look so good anymore.
Without your sacrifice, the world will fall into eternal darkness.
The things I do for love.
Things I do for love.
He sacrifices himself to become a spirit like her, so they could guard the artifact from the darkness. We see the stars beginning to align. I'm sure it's nothing. We finished the chapter and the game hit me with a "to be continued." I genuinely thought the game was over for now and I needed to enter a second disc or something. But then I remembered that this is eternal trolling.
This can't be happening.
Now we can enchant our sword in the present and open this door and find this spice jar. Also the walls are bleeding again. She's not even freaking out. She's used to it already. Wait, I'm getting a phone call from my dead grandpa.
Hello?
Remember me, Alex?
Yes, I remember you. Stop calling me. I'm trying to figure out who killed you. Jeez. Inside of the jar, we find another chapter. How did it even get there? This chapter is about a direct ancestor of Alex from 1760, Maximilian Roivas. He's her grand whatever. He inherited the same mansion that we're in right now. He has cool hair and many servants. So of course the first thing I did was shoot them with my French flintlock pistol, which revealed to me that they are actually the same monsters who can take control of people. My mansion has already been invaded by the darkness, but not all of them are like that. Some are just normal people, and you will lose sanity for killing them. You can also shoot them in the face, go out, come back after a few seconds, and they'll forget all about it. I guess they really don't want to get fired, so they don't wanna make a fuss. They'll just go back to work. Even after watching you fight eldritch horrors, the servants will just go back to work like nothing happened. Maybe they have really strong work ethics. Max is different from the other protagonists. He's a doctor, so he can perform an autopsy and get a description of the creatures. The descriptions aren't super detailed, but it's nice to have a little monster Wikipedia in the game and to get the name of the creatures we're fighting. We're in the past version of the mansion, so we have old school toilets. The game tells me it's a piece of art that should be experienced.
Mahogany.
As he explores the mansion, he finds multiple notes from a relative, who also knows about the Tome of Darkness. No one knows where it came from, but he understands that it's powerful. He also tells him that there's an ancient city just below the mansion, and it's filled with powerful guardians who serve the blue god that we chose in the beginning of the game. I'm pretty sure that an ancient city full of monsters being right under your house is illegal. Someone is going to get sued. He also warns us that they want to get the book for themselves and that he hid a key to the basement in an envelope right here. Goddamn asshole, are you gonna pay for that window? Do you know how much it costs? I don't even know, but it's probably a lot. The reason we need to go to the basement is because that's where the entrance to the city is. We need to find a way to either seal the entrance or destroy the entire place. But the door isn't just locked, it's not even here. Instead, there's the symbol of the blue god. By defeating a boss, we get a spell that reveals hidden things. The spells are divided into different colors, so just use the blue version of the spell to reveal the door, right? Because there's a blue symbol here? Nope. Okay, so you might have noticed the same colors being shown over and over again. The colors red, blue, and green are seen throughout the whole game. It's the colors of your spells, the different types of enemies. Even your health, mana, and sanity have these colors. Each color represents the ancient gods. No, not these ones. Each color represents a specific god, and they oppose each other. While Mantorok, who is represented by the color purple, wants all of the other gods to die, because he's tired of their bullshit. All of them are using humans as pawns to further their goals. The colored god we picked in the beginning of the game will use the skeleton man and other antagonists, while Mantorok will use the protagonists to fight his battles. If we look at the symbol on the Tome of Darkness, we see it has Mantorok's symbol. Maybe he created this book, and that's his way of helping the protagonists. The menus themselves are also part of the book. I love when the UI is part of the in-game universe. We chose the blue one, so that's why most enemies are blue. But the game has a system kind of like rock, paper, scissors. Each color is stronger than another color. Blue is stronger than red, red is stronger than green, green is stronger than blue. Which is why we need to use green magic against blue magic. It's more powerful. That's how we can remove the blue symbol and reveal the basement door. We can even see this concept play out with the enemies. A green one attacks a blue one and kills him in one hit. That's a really nice attention to detail. Before going down into the basement, I got bamboozled by the game again. My volume went down. The entire mansion turned upside down. Twice.
This isn't really happening!
Tons of enemies showed up and instantly killed me.
This can't be happening!
The painting changed into a hellish landscape with a stretched torso. I hallucinated an entire boss fight. My inventory was suddenly empty, and I actually fell for that. We get into the basement and go down this well, where we indeed find an ancient city. There's something beautiful and menacing about it, even though this is just a JPEG. At the entrance of the city, we encounter a guardian, a floating bug that can use magic, just like the bugs I have in my kitchen. It's kind of a tough fight. It blocked the way back. It can shoot lightning, summon enemies, and it has a lot of health. It can also block your attacks with magic. The best thing you can do is hit it before he can cast the spell. You can also use an AoE spell to damage him even when he's protected. The difficulty of this encounter is reflected in the story, as Max comments on how tough the fight was. He barely managed to defeat one of them, and there's a whole city full of these creatures. He goes back up to get some help, which was a big mistake. I mean, What would you do if someone started screaming about shrimp monsters? I would want to make a video about it, but most people would lock him up, which is what happens to Max.
They didn't believe me. Strange creatures, the world in peril from unseen foes. The darkness. Instead, they jeered and threw me into this forsaken place. A place of empty souls and fevered thoughts, reeking of fetor and decay. Thinking me mad with delirium. The fools cast away their hopes of salvation, but locking me in this damned asylum. May the rats eat your eyes! I am now lost to your cause! The darkness comes! It will damn us all!
The voice acting is so theatrical, I love it. And relax. Max, it could have been worse. Being stuck in an asylum is just part of the Lovecraft experience. Remember the key we found in the very beginning, behind the clock? Thanks to Max, Alex can use the reveal spell and this key to unlock this thing, where she finds a gun, and the next chapter of the book. There's another cutscene where Skelly is plotting and scheming, while the Blue God is treating him like shit. Very abusive relationship. And then we switch to our next protagonist, an archaeologist named Lindsay, who came to find an ancient artifact. He is accompanied by someone named Paul Augustine.
Paul Augustine.
Which sounds awfully similar to Pious Augustus, the skeleton man. Yeah, you can tell this old man is going to betray him. I mean, just look at him. It doesn't help that he looks like Arkham from DMC3. He tries to shoot him, but Lindsay fights back. Skelly reveals himself, but then runs away. But Lindsay came prepared. He's decked out with all sorts of weapons. He even has a brush. Badass. He can use it to uncover hidden items. This is the same location where we encountered Mantorok. You know the shtick by now. Fight enemies, get the Book of Darkness from the spooky hand, go insane and see bugs on the screen. Now that's what I call game-breaking bugs. You know what's funny? Lindsay isn't actually trapped here. He can leave whenever he wants. He just doesn't want to, because his ego won't let some skeleton dickhead get the artifact before him. I really like this game, but I have something negative to say about it. Whoa, hold on. Before you crucify me and give me a wedgie, hear me out. Eternal Darkness is a great horror game, but not necessarily a great survival horror game, mainly because of two reasons. 1. It's very linear. Most of the time, you only have one way you can go. It's almost impossible to get lost. And 2. There's not a lot of decision making in the moment-to-moment gameplay. You never feel like you should be avoiding enemies. You never have to think about whether to use bullets to dispose of enemies or save the ammunition, but risk getting hit. There's not much in terms of resource management, mostly because you have unlimited inventory and very powerful melee weapons that never break, and the enemies are super easy to take down. And you can regenerate health whenever you want, because mana regenerates by itself. You don't need to worry too much about taking damage, you can just infinitely heal yourself with spells. The game is just too easy, which in turn kind of takes away from the horror. It's hard to feel intimidated when you can massacre an entire army of the undead. Also there are puzzles, but they're mostly very simple, though there are a couple that will make you think, especially towards the end. If you want to be super pedantic and nitpicky and geeky, you can say that it's not even a survival horror game. It's more of a horror adventure game, with some Lovecraftian and psychological elements. According to Wikipedia, even the developers don't consider it a survival horror game. But who cares about that shit? All of these labels don't matter. They shouldn't matter. It's still a great game that any horror fan should play. It's kind of like Silent Hill. You don't play it to be challenged, you play it for the story and the spooky atmosphere. Though Eternal Darkness has better gameplay than Silent Hill. Ooh, a dozen shotgun shells. That's great.
This can't be happening.
Oh, damn it, game. Stop pranking me. We learn how to dispel force fields, which will become handy later. Lindsay eventually finds Mantorok himself, but Skelly gets there at the same time. He attempts to kill him, but Mantorok actually defends him, which prompts Skelly to run away like a bad Saturday morning cartoon villain.
The darkness shall prevail.
Okay. The artifact he was searching for was actually the heart of Mantorok. That's why Skelly tagged along. He also wanted to find it. He finds Elia's corpse from like 800 years ago. That woman we played as in the second chapter. Her spirit gives him the heart. She asks him to deliver it to Edward Roivas, Alex's grandfather, who is still alive at this point. Now she can finally rest. For now, it's unclear why she told him to bring it here, but it's part of some great plan to fight against the darkness. Also, this is a nitpick, but she told him to not touch it directly, so he put it in a jar. Makes sense, right? But where did he get it? Was there a jar somewhere in those decades-old caves? Or did he randomly just bring one with him? Anyway, he gives it to Edward and fucks off. It might seem strange that he just accepted an evil magical artifact from some random guy he doesn't know, but it will make sense later. What? No one ever delivered evil artifacts to you before? You probably have a really boring life then, huh? Now, Alex knows where her grandfather put it, so she finds it in the future. There's even more stars that are moving. I'm still sure it's nothing. We then get the scariest jump scare ever. Something that is truly terrifying. And I'm not joking. What are gamers most afraid of? Going outside? Speaking to women? Taking a shower? Yes, but there's something scarier than all of those options. And that is losing all of your save files. The game suddenly asks you if you want to delete all of your saves. Your only options are yes or continue without saving. Either way, you're fucked. All you can do is silently watch as your hard work is slowly being deleted in front of you. And the game even confirms that you really have deleted all of your save data. But, thankfully,
this isn't really happening!
I can honestly end the video right now. This is the scariest jump scare in any video game. The scariest jump scare in real life. If I didn't know about the sanity mechanic before playing the game, I would probably shit myself out of panic. No! We use the spell we learned from Lindsay and remove a force field blocking the window, where we find the next chapter. Paul Luther is a monk who came to visit a cathedral. He's under the impression that the monks here are normal religious people. But I mean, look at this guy. Don't judge a book by its cover, my ass. He's corrupted. His name is Philip Augustine. Augustine? Come on now, it's Skeleton Man again. 2 minutes after getting here, Luther finds a corpse and is immediately blamed for the murder. He's then locked in a room to await judgment. These fake monks intentionally lie about having a sacred relic, the Hand of Jude, in order to lure in travelers, and then feed them to a spooky monster that we will see shortly. The only good monk shows up and unlocks the door for us. He tells Luther that the one we found dead was someone who investigated the fake monks, and that's why they killed him. He asks Luther to finish his investigation and find evidence that they are indeed poopy bastards.
Be swift! We can't evade them forever.
Luther has a staff that restores sanity. I wish my staff did that. There's an organ here, so you bet it has something to do with a puzzle. But Luther doesn't know how to play. He's just like Chris.
Uncultured swine?
the first enemy of the chapter shows up. It's funny to me how most of these characters aren't freaking out from seeing these monsters for the first time, they just immediately start fighting them. After exploring, we discover it's the same cathedral we visited as Anthony. Speaking of which, after all of these years, he's still here. Or at least his zombified corpse.
Charlemagne.
I'm in danger!
He's here. He wants to fight. He can respawn, but only once. And he's really easy. Eventually we put him out of his misery. Rest in peace, you were a good man. And, ooh, a shiny diamond. Luther finds a sheet of music and learns how to play the big piano. Playing it unlocks a nearby closet, which has a power circle, which is an item that allows us to cast stronger versions of existing spells. We eventually find all of the notes containing the evidence we need. Not only are they part of some satanic cult, they're also guarding a green artifact, which is one of the 3 we found in the beginning. We inform our new friend about our discovery and decide to go public with this information. I hope he doesn't suddenly die on me or anything like that. What's this? A coffin that looks eerily similar to him, and it has a space where you can put a knife? And it literally says that thy friend needs to be sacrificed? And he literally gave us a sacrificial dagger? I hope it doesn't mean anything. Teehee. Oh, he's dead. Well, that's bullshit. How could I have known that would happen? There was literally no hints, nothing pointing to his death. Augustine shows up and sends his minions to stop me. Dude, I've killed like 100 of these creatures at this point. Why would you think I'll be afraid of them? Luther finds a suspiciously decorated door. There's something ominous about it, but with no other choice, he walks inside and finds the creature the monks have been feeding. He's the one guarding the green artifact. We established that green is stronger than blue, which is why Skeleton Man doesn't want anyone to have it, since it's the only thing to pose an actual threat to his god. But we're here to take it. We made it all the way here, and we're about to have an epic boss fight. Nothing will stop us now.
If I to guard this place, then I will do it as I see fit. Be gone, leave me, and I will guard the artifact as you have instructed.
We see that all of these creatures aren't exactly friends, they just tolerate each other because they have a common goal, kind of like office workers or people at family gatherings. We also see that no one is safe in this story. There's no plot armor here. Protagonists are dying left and right. Back in the future, a note falls from the book and it's addressed to Alex. It's from Grandpa. He tells her to look for 88 keys, which made me really upset. I was under the impression that I need to run all over the mansion and look for 88 keys. But no, it was actually a hint that we need to use the piano. Why couldn't you just write, go play the piano, Alex? What, did you forget what the piano is called?
Can't remember the name, huh? A senior moment, perhaps.
She plays the same notes as Luther did, which unlocks the piano. Inside, there's another chapter. This triggers a cutscene where Skelly is impersonating someone again and is about to kill someone else. The man manages to see through the disguise, so Skelly is like, "Ah, you're a gifted man. Truly remarkable. Okay, I'll use you as a foundation for a pillar made out of humans." That sounds fun, hehehe. He wants to build a human pillar as a sacrifice to his blue god. I think that's what's happening. Meanwhile, we play as Roberto. He's an architect and has been captured by Skelly and his men. They want him to survey the area and tell them if it's safe to construct the pillar here. With no choice, he starts exploring, and you know what happens. Spooky booky, humiliating zombies, because this game is easy, getting pranked again. Wait, actually no, I didn't have any sanity effects in this chapter. We see a stupid, idiot zombie getting squashed. So, of course I immediately followed in his footsteps. Don't try this at home, kids. I don't think it was the eternal darkness that killed him. It was more like gravity. Instead of dying ourselves, we summon our own zombie. Look at this cute fellow. Squishing him opens a door. I don't know why it's designed like that. Imagine having doors like that in your house. That would be cool! I mentioned how the puzzles are usually easy, but one of the best puzzles in this game is when it doesn't actually tell you it's a puzzle. Like this deadly corridor that you cannot pass because the floor damages you. You need to figure out by yourself that you have to create a powerful version of the shield spell. You have the normal version, but this one lasts longer and allows you to cross safely. There were no hints about it, there was nothing telling you to do it, but it's not unfair because the game previously established that you can experiment with runes and create more powerful spells. This mechanic didn't come out of nowhere, the game expected you to remember that. Eventually he reaches the same shrine with the artifacts, and encounters none other than Karim, the simp who became a ghost and guardian of the artifact. He strikes him with the sword to see if he's the chosen one. Apparently he is, so he grants him access to the red artifact. Now he can finally rest with his OnlyFans girlfriend. I guess you can escape from the friend zone if you wait multiple lifetimes.
Now my duty is complete. I can finally rest. My sacrifice was not in vain.
Even though he has no idea what just happened, he picks up the floating demonic artifact. After inspecting all of the areas in this temple, he returns to his captors. Remember, they're led by Skelly, and they're building a pillar made out of humans. So, you know, this probably won't end well for him. Probably.
You are wicked, but I am more wicked than you. So be silent! Now you, architect, you are about to make your largest contribution to this project.
Yeah, I bet it sucks when a ghost tells you that you're the chosen one and makes you feel special, only to be turned into a wall. I wouldn't know. I never talk to ghosts, I only talk with the voices in my head. In the future, Alex is drawn to a painting of that same pillar and finds another chapter behind it. Remember this big guardian? A cutscene plays. Skelly is informed that their guardian is becoming hangry and wants to eat more juicy people. Or else, he quits. He won't guard the artifact anymore. In order to satisfy him, they started feeding him people who got sick and wounded during the First War. Yes, this chapter takes place during the First War. We play as a journalist named Peter. He ended up in the same cathedral we've been to twice already, only now it became a makeshift hospital. The First War automatically makes this chapter more interesting. We don't get a lot of games that cover this time period. In general, I love the variety in this game. Even though you visit the same locations, the context and time period is different every time. There's new areas that were built over the years. The locations are evolving along with humanity itself. You hear gunshots, it's dangerous out there, but you already know that it's not safe in here either. It gives me the same feeling as Amnesia the Bunker. You're trapped with spooky monsters, but it's not less dangerous outside, so you're stuck between two versions of hell. There's even a moment where the windows shatter from the outside blasts. It reminds you of the horrors from the outside, which really enhances the tension, especially when the game suddenly mutes itself.
This can't be happening!
Hehehehe, come here, boy. Soon enough, you discover that everyone is dead except for you, which is predictable. And there's spooky monsters everywhere, which is also predictable. This is one of the few times where you can't just kill everything. We don't have a melee weapon, and we barely have any bullets. This is the closest it gets to survival horror, in terms of mechanics and gameplay. But we do have a photographer's flash pen, which we use to stun enemies and run away like a little bitch. You do regain your confidence when the enemies become tiny and you get to step on them and pretend like they're your annoying co-worker, Larry. Ignore that last part.
This can't be happening! This can't be happening!
Hello there.
We eventually find more weapons, one of them being a sword we used with some of the previous characters. The game keeps reminding us that this is a battle across generations. But now we need to turn on the generator. There's no fuse, so we have to use a random lucky coin that we had in our inventory, which somehow powers up the generator. Is it common knowledge that coins can be used as a power source? I got stuck in this part, so I had to look it up. The generator powers up the organ, so we literally play the same notes as before and unlock the same closet. But this time there's a door handle inside, which we then use on a door. I know, I was shocked as well. At this point, I discovered I can summon the scorpion creature and even the freaking boss monster. That's awesome. You're basically a necromancer at this point, though you start losing sanity the moment you summon someone. He's very handy. You can use him to fight enemies for you and even take out other boss monsters.
So basically, what I was thinking of was, oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this.
The trade-off is that you have to fight it later. After casually sinking into the floor, we find a spell that does AoE damage. It will be important very soon, because we meet the hangry bug mushroom with legs creature. What even is that? This is the first real boss fight of the game. It attacks you with projectiles and will try to squash you if you get close. The fight feels epic and grand, especially with the music playing in the background.
My machinations are timeless, Peter. Your life is not.
You're a tiny person fighting against impossible odds. Peter is more of a fighter than Luther was, so he manages to not instantly die. But he's still a puny human, fighting a Lovecraftian being. There's only one way to beat him, and he will literally tell you what to do if you just try to shoot him. Thanks, I guess.
The tools of your puerile civilization are of no use against the power of the planet. Magic is your only hope, if you have any at all.
We take his advice and use the AoE spell we just got, and it does actually damage him. I don't know why he told me how to damage him. Maybe he wants to die? Can Lovecraftian gods lose the will to live? Do they get depressed and go see a Lovecraftian therapist? You're using their own magic against them, so it makes sense that you stand a chance. The downside is that you can only damage him when he's glowing, and that's a big problem, since he does it randomly. You have to kind of predict when that will happen and time your magic accordingly. I found that if you stand here, right after he summons zombies, he glows semi-consistently. As you do more damage, the arena will get smaller and smaller, like you're playing PUBG. But eventually, we manage to defeat the depressed Guardian and claim the green artifact. 69 years later... Nice. 69 years later, he meets up with Edward and gives him the artifact. It's the second character that just goes to his house with a floating demonic item. Edward, being curious about it, decides to take it. After finishing the chapter, Alex discovers a coin at the back of the page. It's the same one that Peter used to power up the generator. So we do the same in the basement, which turns on the light in the bathroom. Again, I love the progression in this game. You do some stuff in the past that slowly affects the future and helps you progress. Oh, and we get the key to the basement from a random ghost of a maid. She falls down in pain, but then immediately gets up and starts cleaning. I don't know what that was about, but I respect the dedication to her work.
I can't get the blood out!
In the basement, we find a shotgun, presumably the one from the opening. Going into the bathroom, where we turn down the lights, we find yet another chapter, which is exactly what you would expect to find in a medicine cabinet. We got so much backstory about her grandfather, so now it's time to play as him. In 1952, 48 years before the events of the game, he also started investigating his mansion. He has a drink that restores sanity. Sanity in liquid form. So alcohol. It doesn't take long for him to start drinking, because he meets the ghost of his ancestor, Max.
You know who I am, Edward. Although you are doing your best not to believe it, I am, or was, Maximilian Roivas, your ancestor. I died in an asylum after trying to warn the world. The pain and anguish I felt in that cell has empowered me to linger after my death. I must complete what I started, Edward. The darkness must be stopped, or all of humanity may end.
He tasks Edward with finishing what he started. He wants him to go to that city below the mansion and destroy it. Somehow. Good thing there's so many shotgun shells scattered throughout the house. That's not a hallucination, it's actually here. Which is actually more concerning. Why do you have so many shotgun shells here, Edward? Hey, what are you doing? I'm not paying you to touch walls. Am I even paying you at all? That's the question. Soon enough, the servants become possessed and start attacking. Maybe this is the same maid we just signed a present. There's also screams behind this wall, the same wall where we saw a ghost going inside. Loud neighbors. There's a new creature that possesses the servants by sucking their blood. He runs around the mansion trying to possess different people. If we manage to save them, they'll give us items, like a key to the elephant gun, which has an insane kickback. It knocks you down on your ass. Fun fact, or sad fact, if you fail to save him, you won't get the key. So I guess you won't get the elephant man? Elephant gun? Elephant man. Spooky movie. Don't mind me, I'm just using Lovecraftian magic so I can do battle with some eldritch horrors. Just go back to work. After each fight, he will run into the basement like a coward to regenerate his power. So we need to go down there to cut his power source and finish him off. But the door is locked, so we find half of the key inside of a vase and the other half from the creature itself. He's literally so scared, he drops it as he runs away. We fix the key and go inside. We destroy his power source and teleport him to hell. We go down to the same city entrance that Max went to 200 years ago. Edward notices 9 giant towers and suspects they might be used to channel a bunch of energy. Encountering 2 boss monsters, I decide to summon my own. I feel like a Lovecraftian Pokemon trainer. I sent him ahead to clear out the area, but he died to a guardian. I'll never forget you, whatever your name was. So I went in there and finished him myself.
Finish him! Ouch! Fatality.
Umbrella? I knew they were behind all of this. Finally getting into the city ourselves, we see just how weird and ancient the architecture is. Massive corridors and bizarre statues are everywhere. But I'm not sure if we're actually inside of the city. We're in some kind of central hub with a teleporter. we can use it to go to each of the 9 towers I mentioned, where we can put runes that will create a spell which can destroy the city. I don't know why they would build their city with such a glaring weakness. These towers are literally located above the city. I guess being ancient and powerful doesn't always mean being smart. Every time we do this, we have to fight enemies or complete some kind of puzzle that gets us back to the main hall. The place looks cool and the vibes are creepy. Makes you really feel like you've stumbled into something old and dangerous that you shouldn't touch, just like my grandfather. But actually playing it is kind of boring. You're essentially doing the same thing over and over again, and it takes too long, but the payoff is worth it. After aligning all of the runes, we create a powerful shockwave that destroys the entire city in one fell swoop. Or at least most of the monsters inside. This is like Raccoon City all over again. As vengeance, Skelly sends one of the surviving guardians to kill Edward from behind. So that's how he died. But for some reason, he waited 48 years to do that? Okay, I guess this was too much for the police to handle. A magical flying bug monster sent by a skeleton man that essentially wants to summon Cthulhu wouldn't be my first suspect.
Ouch!
Monsters finally start appearing in the present, and then we become the monster. Objects start flying around. At this point, you can't know if it's a bug or a feature. It's genius. After reading the chapter, Alex finds another note from her granddaddy. He tells her to search the basement. She does that and finds a pickaxe. It specifically mentioned that it's great for breaking walls. Remember that weird wall in the mansion? We use the pickaxe to smash it and find a hidden area. This really reminded me of Silent Hill 4, the part where you break the wall and find Walter's corpse. Maximilian suspected his servants of being demons, and yeah, we saw that was the case, so he went into their chambers and massacred them.
I am the one who knocks!
Inside, she finds a Seth Rogen and uses it to guess the combination of a safe and unlocks it. Inside, she finds the green artifact along with a crankshaft, a note from Edward, and the last chapter of the book. The note is for Alex. He knew she would get this far, and tells her that she needs to finish what her family started. The ancient city he destroyed, well, it's still there. Some monsters have survived, and Skelly is close to releasing his blue ancient. So the situation isn't good. Even though she learned a lot of magic tricks from reading the Book of Darkness, she can't exactly defeat Skelly, someone who's been doing this for 2000 years. And she definitely won't be able to defeat the blue Cthulhu he's about to summon.
Yes.
So Edward tells her that her only hope to stop this madness is to use all of the artifacts she got and summon her own ancient.
It all rests with you, my dear. I wish you well in this desperate act. I wish I had more guidance for you, but I am at my wit's end. And I feel I am running out of time. Your loving grandfather, Edward.
But she's missing one. We still haven't found the red artifact. So let's read the final chapter, dude. A firefighter named Mike is trying to fight some fires. Evil magic sets up some explosives, which blows everything up, kills his team, and leaves him stranded in, you guessed it, the same place where we originally found the artifacts. And now, it's also the place with the human pillar.
Looks like they've been buried alive, under tons of concrete.
Guard it well. Many have perished for it. Take it to the ruins of Enga. A
The ruins, a gathering of light.
You want me to take this to some ruins under a house in Rhode Island?
Take it. Save us. All.
I like his reaction. He's not even that surprised to see a ghost coming out of a human pillar. He's more annoyed that he needs to deliver a weird artifact to some mansion, but he agrees to do it. Mike comes equipped with a flashlight, an axe, and 5 seconds later, an assault rifle, which doubles as a grenade launcher, and a pistol. That's way more than any other character could have hoped for. I think we're gonna be okay. I don't think the ancients were prepared for all of this modern artillery. He's also just a buff dude. He kicks the shit out of a gajillion zombies, blows them up, and himself. Sorry, Mike. Finds a gold amulet, combines it with a staff, and uses it to solve a nice little laser puzzle, which unlocks the path forward, which leads us to the Book of Darkness for the last time. There's a lot more statues here now. Everyone who died, or will die in this conflict, is here. Edward is still alive at this point, but he already has a statue. After getting actual game-breaking bugs, we find a sword that calls out to Mike.
Lieutenant Mikhail, that's it.
It's the same sword that Skelly used when he was a human, only now it's enchanted with green energy. But it's stated that only the Guardian of Light can use it, and Mike can't equip it. He suddenly gets a vision of Alex, who gets a visit from her grandfather. Ah, that's sweet. But why is he acting like a creep?
Ah, sweet Alex. Many centuries I've waited for you. You are mine. Don't disappoint me now. I've waited such a long time, Alex.
Never! I know what you are. I've seen what happened.
You can try to fight me, but in the end you shall succumb to my desires. My foolish child, you don't even know your own destiny.
Get away from me!
You just wait, Skelly. I'm gonna kick your bony ass soon. We find some C4 and get a voice telling us to blow up this ancient place and finally bury the evil that's here. So we do it, because why not? We use magic to enhance the power of the explosives for good measure and escape before everything explodes.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Ironic how a firefighter is the one causing mass destruction. A few years later, he meets up with Edward and hands him a package. He tells him that he won't last the night, so that's another person lost to the fight against the darkness. As Alex finishes reading the book, all of the stars align, and the blue asshole is about to finally be summoned.
Yes.
I guess all of the monsters in the mansion just waited patiently until she finished reading. They're aggressive killers, but they're not rude, they at least have some culture. We suddenly get a package, the same one Mike handed Edward. We don't know who brought it here, but it contains the last artifact, and the enchanted sword. It can only be used by the chosen one, and since Alex can equip it, and Mike couldn't, you know, obviously the game is telling me that blondes get to have more fun.
Don't you think blondes have more fun?
Mantorok manipulated everyone throughout the years so that all of the pieces would come together. So that after thousands of years, Alex would finally have everything she needs to battle against the darkness. But Mantorok isn't doing this out of the kindness of his heart. He's not exactly a good, pure individual. Again, he's using the protagonists as pawns to fight the other gods, because he hates them, but he also can't fight them directly. Gods really love using humans for their schemes. Thanks to Mike solving the laser puzzle and the crankshaft we found, Alex can do a similar puzzle in the future. Completing it opens up a big hatch in the basement. This is another entry point into the ancient Boomer City. The game asks if we're ready. There's no going back. Alex finally discovers that all of the bullshit she's been reading is real. The city exists. The last part of the game feels epic in terms of story. Everything is finally connected. Thanks to the efforts of all who came before her, Alex is able to find all of the tools she needs to finish this. This multi-generational battle across time and space is finally coming to an end, with the fate of the entire universe resting on this tough, blonde lady. But actually playing it is kind of boring. You essentially do the same thing we did with her grandfather, just running around and teleporting. Yes, teleporting is boring now. Only now, instead of trying to destroy the city, we need to summon the Green God to help us. There are some new puzzles which I kind of liked, like the one where you need to summon different creatures, each with a different color, and place them on these platforms. At this point, I'm both a necromancer and a Pokemon master. But there were also things I hated. Like this part, where a giant worm makes everything black and white and locks the entire area. I couldn't exit this place and I didn't know what to do. I tried a bunch of stuff and eventually, randomly, discovered that if I restore my sanity, I can restore the color. Looking at my footage now, I can see this was hinted back in Edward's chapter. He drinks his sanity flask right after the worm appears. I guess the game wanted me to remember this specific moment. What you actually need to do is walk really slowly so as to not even trigger the worm. This is the only time I used stealth in the entire game. This whole section is kind of dull and drags on, but when you finally get it over with, when you finally set up the correct runes and place all of the artifacts in their place, you get to the final fight. And you're not ready for this. This might be one of my favorite cutscenes and one of my favorite fights ever.
Ah, Miss Roivas, you're just in time. The summoning spell I began 2,000 years ago is finally complete. You will now have the honor of becoming the first morsel for my lord, Ulyath, an appetizer for the banquet your race shall provide.
You forget what it means to be human, Pious. The human race will never go quietly into the darkness. For as long as you have spent summoning your lord, people have struggled against you. Now, thanks to their efforts, I have 3 of the Ancient's essences. Now, Pious, this is the end!
The end indeed.
What is that? A giant blue jellyfish? That's lame. Wait until you see my green god. My god is so much cooler than your god. Look at her dancing. It might be the most epic fight I've ever experienced in a video game. Maybe not in the gameplay department, but story-wise. I don't know if this is a good ending for a horror game, but it's a damn great and epic conclusion for the story. The young, fragile human who was hardened thanks to her experience, and the experience of every person who came before her, who dared to challenge the darkness, and the corrupt warrior who was scheming and plotting for 2 millennia, are having an epic battle of biblical proportions, a fight that literally lasted generations, both using weapons and arcane magic, while the ancients are literally having a Dragon Ball Z fight in space. I don't know if you can get any more climactic than this, and I love it.
Final Flash! Oh, how cute! He named the ocean!
The final fight of Resident Evil 5 can't even reach this level of absurdity, and that's a game where you fight a mutated Johnny Bravo with tentacles inside a volcano, and you punch a boulder so hard, the whole community is memeing about it to this day. Maybe Asura's Wrath is more insane. Asura? Ashura? The fight is truly unique. In terms of gameplay, it's kind of fun, and you get to use all of the abilities you've acquired, but it's nothing special. You just hit him, and then hit the essence of the ancient. But the context, and the way it plays out, is... mwah! The only way to hurt Skelly is by using his own sword against him, the weapon he forsaken long ago. After a certain amount of damage, you will take on the shape of the people who helped you on this journey. Their spirits are literally fighting alongside you. They will not rest until this battle is over. You know how in our day-to-day lives we use the word epic to describe something really cool? This fight, and honestly this whole game, is epic in the truest sense of the word. It's a grand adventure across space and time that culminates in a fight somewhere between reality and madness. And the music. You feel like you're in some kind of epic Lovecraftian club. I don't think it fits a horror game, and I don't like clubs, but let's fucking go, man! As the fight progresses, our green monster is overpowering the blue jellyfish, which in turn weakens Skelly and allows us to defeat him. We use everything we have: spells that regenerate mana quickly, magic shield, a sword enchanted with the power of a stronger god. Both are limping and barely holding on. Skelly may have thousands of years more experience than us, but we have the power of all who came before us. We're also a cool, hot millennial, so we win. Or is she actually Gen X? Who cares? This is the year 2000, and this is the clothes you're wearing? Wait, hold on. What's that? The Roman Empire is calling. It wants its clothes back. Got 'em. Just as the battle ends, the blue jellyfish falls as well. We've won. After 2000 years of shapeshifting and manipulating history, Skelly gets defeated by a blonde 20-year-old with too much time on her hands. After everything she's been through, after everything that happened, she finally defeated the big Lovecraftian jellyfish and saved the universe. But then Alex remembers that the only reason she succeeded is because she released another Lovecraftian monster that can kill everyone. So she didn't really prevent anything. Everyone will die either way. She even gets visions of what will happen to humanity. Oopsie, I guess.
What have I done?
Luckily, her granddaddy comes to the rescue and manages to seal her away with a bit of humor.
Good heavens, no, not that one. Nor that one either. Come on, Edward. It hasn't been that long since you researched this stuff. It's the squiggly circle thing. Ah, that's the ticket.
Red is stronger than green, so he uses a red spell to seal the creature away. Wait, why couldn't they just do the same for the blue jellyfish? Just use a green version of the same spell, instead of summoning a green monster to fight it. Whatever. She reunites with her grandfather for the last time, as he congratulates her on her victory. They say their goodbyes, as she gazes at the book that helped her on this journey. And finally, this insane game ends. Wow, what an experience. The game asks if you want to save your progress. You can carry your save data to the next playthrough, which will cause some things to change. The artifact we previously chose is not here. And in general, if you choose a different color, there's going to be different dialogue.
Eons have passed since then, and I have learned much. Chatturga's power filled me, invigorating my dead body. With a touch, I could level buildings, rend the ground asunder, and channel power such as mortal men could only dream. Face me, and you shall surely perish.
Keep telling yourself that, darling.
Some of the puzzles will change. It's cool, but it's overall the same game. What's even cooler, and maybe confusing, is the true ending. If you play the game 3 times, choose a different color each time, and defeat all of the different gods, you discover that all of the events in all of your playthroughs are canon. They technically happen in different timelines, but also at the same time? Somehow.
All at once, separate and simultaneous. For the universe is made of many time streams, many possibilities, all in harmonious synchronicity.
The bottom line is that all of the gods are dead, and only Mantorok remains. He manipulated people in multiple universes to do his bidding and kill his enemies for him. What an insane mastermind. He saved the multiverse from annihilation. Somehow this creature is the least evil, but it's stated that he will also die eventually. So, yay? Eternal Darkness is a great horror game that deserves all of the praises it gets. Most people like to focus on the spooky sanity effects, which are great and unique, but the game deserves recognition for the other stuff it does well. There's not a lot of enemy variety, and the combat is easy, but it's entertaining. The magic system is kind of deep, but not too complicated. And the story is epic, in every sense of the word. Seeing what each character's experience adds to the overarching plot, how their actions allow you to slowly unlock more and more of the mansion, how their combined knowledge is what eventually helps Alex defeat the darkness, it's all great. It's a fantastically paced game. I don't think I've ever played something that tells its story in this manner. Skelly is also a fun antagonist. I'll always remember my time with him. His head will always bring a smile to my face. Oh, and Nintendo patented the Sanity mechanic, because it's Nintendo, so developers couldn't use this system for over 2 decades. Thanks, you lawsuit-loving freaks. If I'm not mistaken, the patent has finally expired. So, hooray! We can now have more games where your protagonist inexplicably loses their head. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Do all of the YouTube stuff. Watch my other videos because why not? Why not? Thanks for watching.
Yes. No.